conversation, we said that we were talking about self-employment versus employment, right?
Yeah.
So I know we spoke in the week and we said let's refine it to to a better conversation of entrepreneurship versus employment. Yeah. So from that, I remember that you mentioned that that you and your brother have a business that you guys are running together.
Yeah.
So I actually want to find out why did you pick the entrepreneurship route, and how long have you been self-employed?
I picked the entrepreneurship route because number one, it was circumstantial, right? I found it difficult to obviously find employment. But the thing is, I didn't really, because I didn't really push for employment. Like I've always enjoyed the art of being an entrepreneur. I like the challenge that it brings. I like taking risks. So I think it's just the type of person that I am, that I always wanted to be self-employed and in turn an idea into something that can obviously generate and help fight unemployment. There's a number of reasons why. It's personal, but by no means am I saying that employment is a bad route. This is my own reasons. I always wanted to start my own business. I saw an idea and I seized an opportunity, so here I am now. And yeah.
And how long has it been?
It's about a year now, bro.
A year?
Yeah, it's about a year now.
And were you not scared of the financial risk that you were going to have to take?
At first, yeah. But I think once you started making money, it became more apparent that you don't need money to start, but you do need money to grow. That's the thing. So I think the more money we made, the more we could reinvest into the business, and obviously we seeked outside funding.
Okay.
But we couldn't get anything, unfortunately. But right now it's just I do side hustles, maybe tutoring, and then there's some stuff I do with my dad as well. So that little extra income that I get, it helps push that business, even more further.
Okay, that's interesting. What are some of the challenges that you currently facing or have faced in starting this, your business actually?
So first one is obviously finance.
Yeah.
Finance. I think it's not so much, how can I say this? It's not so much accessing finance, it's more about the knowledge of how to get the finance, So if I had that bridge, something to bridge that gap between the mismatch of information, I think maybe I would be able to get money to grow. So I think that's it, bro. And then, so it's finance, things like finance, access to market, compliance, administration.
Because you guys are doing the chemical stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you would have to get some sort of compliance along that, because you can't just go create your own formula and then sell it to people, and next thing the skin's burning from acid or something.
Exactly. Okay. So because you can formulate, say, a detergent like dishwasher, and you produce it and you bottle it and you say you use it, but when you use it, there's nothing. Right. Yeah. But I feel like it's more, you gain more loyalty and trust when people see that my product has like a SAPS approval or something like that. So those things that are like compliance, they're difficult to get, right? Not because it's because of the money, but also I don't know how to get to that next level. You understand?
So then, like you said, you don't know how. How did you figure it out?
So I'm still in the process of figuring it out.
Okay.
You understand? So I'm still asking people. I'm still doing my own research.
Yeah.
I know the SAPS portal has like some extensive information on how to do it. I know it's a very costly exercise. So that's also another challenge, like I said, the finance as well. Yeah. So it's one of those things. There's a lot, bro. Like if I were to tell you all the challenges, we'd finish this thing next week. But it's bro. I mean, it's the life. It's the life I chose, and I'm enjoying it, bro.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
So just do you think that if you were employed, you'd still be able to do this?
No. Absolutely not.
Don't think so.
The work is demanding, bro.
It's demanding. Okay, I was about to ask the reasons.
It's way too demanding, bro.
Do you not think it would give you some leverage though, of in terms of you having a normal income every month, and then you still have this?
Yeah, definitely, bro. Because I feel like if I was employed first, right, I would have obviously had, like you said, leverage to save up, and then like have a huge cash, lump sum investment into the business, right? Also from the point of having that corporate experience, right? Because I feel like
because I'm there,
you understand? So you learn a lot from corporate, and you remember I said that it's statistically proven that if you had if you had a job,
prior job,
to starting your own business, you're 28% more likely to succeed as a startup.
Yeah, which actually makes sense because you have that. Well, number one, you get to meet a lot of people.
Exactly.
Number two, you have a steady income, so you know why it's like to have an income.
Exactly.
What are some of the other things that you could have, bro? Like possibly even like you'd meet people who actually have businesses that could help you.
Exactly.
In that process.
Exactly, bro. Because even the thing of like, a corporate is a business.
It is, yeah.
So you're learning from a business on how to run a business.
100%. You're just in a different role.
Exactly, bro. Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah, bro. It's one of those things, dog. It's one of those things. But I'm happy with my choice so far,
Yeah.
Because like also another thing I want to say is that I started from a point of privilege. You understand?
Well, what do you mean by that?
Like, when I finished tertiary, I didn't have any like student debt to pay off first of all.
Okay,
right?
cool. Yeah.
My parents gifted me a car, so it's my car. I don't pay any installments. Only thing is insurance.
Yeah.
You understand? I don't pay rent. I don't have black tax.
Okay.
You know that shit.
Yeah. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing, bro. You understand? So it's easy for me to elevate myself because I don't have all these burdens that are attached from, where I come from. When I get cash, obviously I do help out here and there, but it's not a thing of like I have to.
Yeah.
So it's easy for me to accelerate my.
Yeah, but so on that, I know a lot of people who don't have that privilege, right? And in the spirit of that, if you're unfortunate in that circumstance to have that privilege, do you think people should actually go out and take loans? Or what's your view actually on people taking out a loan to start a business?
I feel like if you take out a loan, obviously every single business needs money to grow.
Yeah.
Right? How you access the funds is entirely, there's different avenues in which you can access funds, right? But it's entirely up to you. So if you take out a loan, you should obviously approach a financial or credit bearing institution with the idea of, I have a track record, number one, so my business shows promise. Like, you can't just go there empty handed.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have some kind of track. It's like if I come to you and like, Romeo, please promise me like 100K.
Yeah.
Right? But you don't know if the thing actually sells, if people actually know about my product.
Exactly.
So I need like sales, like actual proof that the business is in place.
Yeah.
You understand? So one of those things, you can, yes, access a loan if you're fortunate enough to get a loan. By all means, many businesses have used those facilities for many years and they still continue to use it and it works.
Yeah, and just sorry, bro. And on that, when I attended the property training course, right? They spoke about the amount of banks in South Africa, right? So there's a certain portion that's regulated, and then there's the other additional banks. I'm not talking about stockpiles. I'm talking about actual banks.
Yes,
they're just not.
Banks,
they're just not registered. In terms of SARB requirements and stuff like that. So going to those regulated banks, there's a high chance that they're going to decline you.
Okay.
Because remember, they want that proof.
Yeah.
And then you get specific smaller banks who are just there to help you for that specific purpose.
Yeah.
So one of the things with property was there's certain banks that is willing to give you a loan just based on your plan.
Okay.
As long as you provide some sort of proof. And if you go to one of your larger banks, they literally could just say no because you have no track record or anything. So there is the option of going to smaller banks. And I think if you do your research on how many other banks are in South Africa, you'd be quite surprised. Because I was surprised when I found that there's only 18 that's regulated. But then there's a whole 7, 6, 10 or whatever. There's probably from different countries and type of, well, actually from different country, owned by people overseas, overseas. And they have their banks here. There's banks that you can connect to overseas. And where we currently are with technology, I mean, you can contact those banks who are willing to fund you based on whatever aspects you can provide.
Yeah.
It just depends on their curriculum.
Yeah, true, bro, true.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that. I swear I didn't know that, but
it's actually shocking, right? It was 52 banks in South Africa, and I was like, there's no way it's 52 banks.
Cool. I've been growing up with apps like Capitec, Netbank, all that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, bro. Yeah.
Exactly, bro.
That's basically my entrepreneurship perspective of things. So, but like I said, we can talk about this. We're still going to talk about this in many episodes.
It's gonna keep coming up.
You understand? It's a never-ending story, to really. But enough about entrepreneurship, because the topic of discussion is entrepreneurship versus employment.
Yeah.
Let's talk about employment, bro, because I know you've been working now since, I don't know, bro, for quite some time, dog. Tell me, dog, when you were still in like high school, was it your initial intention to actually go look for a job? Like, like, nah, I want a 9 to 5.
It wasn't. It really wasn't. In fact, I don't think I knew what I wanted to do. So just to put in perspective, right? We were in matric, and I actually had a part-time job by this company my aunt used to work for. They were hiring students for just like a month, right? Okay. So we had a holiday, the normal June to July holidays. Yeah. And this was in matric, right? And she said, listen, you can come for 1 month and just pay your salary. I think salary at that time was like 2,000, and this was 2014, right? Yeah. Because we were, matric 2014. Yeah. So it was like 2,000 rand. So for me that was good enough. I was like, cool, I can do 2,000. Yeah. In fact, I never wanted to. My parents forced me to. Oh, okay. Because I just wanted to chill. It's matric. I want to chill. It's holidays. I want to go out. I want to go to a party. Wherever it is. So they forced me, and so I went, and it was called data capturing, is what the position was. And then after matric, I studied. I went straight into college, right, to do my BCom in management and marketing. And then through word of mouth, there was this opportunity to work, and so I applied, and so by God's grace, I got the opportunity, and I went for the interview, and so July 2015, I started working then. So it's been 5 years, solid 5 years and a couple of days that I started working. Wow, man, wow. And how that, 5 years is a long time, bro. It's a very long time, actually. 5 years. 5 years, dog. So, time flies. Huh? So obviously, the employment, background or journey is obviously different to that of the entrepreneurship one. Tell us about like your experience, dog. How's corporate? How's working? So a 9 to 5, all those things. So I'll start with when I started, right? Also, are you happy with the decision? Okay, cool. Yeah, just so we'll add it in the end, right? Yeah. So when I started, it was quite nerve-wracking actually, because now you got to buy some suits. You don't know how to dress. Number one, you don't know. Like your whole lifestyle changes completely, right? Because I was used to waking up, going to college at like 8 or 9 or whatever the case is, and then after that, you go either to a friend's house, you leave college early, you go to your friend's house, or whatever you want to do, because you almost have that free time if you have a car, if you have a license, if you have a car, or have a friend with a car. So there was that, and then once I started working, that all changed. Yeah. Because now I'm literally just trying to, understand what's happening. So I got there, they give you like almost like a buddy type of training. So you join there, you say, hey, this is meet Cloney. Cloney's like, how's it, whatever, where you from, you guys chat. Like, okay, cool, so this is what we're doing here. So they show you the process, right? You go through a process, and eventually you just get so used to it that it's like second nature. You don't even have to look at the screen to get the work right. Because I wasn't customer facing, it was all behind back office type of thing, right? No customers to see, so we had to dress professionally nonetheless. You had to wear shirt, pants, shoes. The ladies should just look appropriate. There was no exact criteria for ladies. It was just look appropriate, I guess, whatever appropriate meant to the managers there. So after that, it becomes second nature, it becomes redundant, if I can be honest. Okay. So it does become redundant if you're there for too long. Yeah. Thankfully, I was there, and then August 2017, I was actually, I forgot to mention, I was there as a temp consultant, right? So temporary consultant. So I was temporary employed, meaning, right? At any point, they could let me go if they didn't need our services anymore.
Sure.
Right? So there was quite a few staff, over 200, right? And we went through a phase of employing people permanently. So I was fortunate enough to be permanently employed, and in that year, I used to also practice being a team leader, right? Because you have what's called second in charge. So you're second in charge of the person. If a team is unavailable, or sick or whatever, this person now steps in to go into the meetings, to guide the rest of the team. That role actually came naturally to me, but me being so new, the people there didn't like it, because remember, they've been there
for quite some
they've
time.
been there since 2014, right? I just came in 2015, late 2015, and then 2016, 2017, so they didn't like that, because they've been there just 1 year longer. And after that, acting team leader, in my CV I added that I am, acting team leader, right? And I don't know if it helped me, but I think it did, because when the position came about, I applied for it, and by 2018 I was made team leader.
Okay.
How old was I? I was 22 years old as a team leader, probably one of the youngest in our department at the time. So that was super exciting for me, because number one, I was young, and number two, I was a team leader. It means something if you have that, right? And a lot of people will tell you in corporate that, don't worry people's titles, but that's not the situation. In fact, if you have a title there, you have more say. So now I'm currently in risk, so that's a whole new field now in 2020. It just started recently, so still practicing that. And you also asked me if I'm happy with my decision, right? Yeah. In fact, actually, I'm happy with my decision. Would I stay there for another 5 years? Maybe. But if I can get my entrepreneurship goals fulfilled within this period, my side hustle, if I can get that fulfilled during this period, I would most likely leave.
Okay. And what are some of the benefits to being employed though?
The benefits, number one, I think we spoke about earlier, was you have that business experience, right? On site, you work in a business environment all the time, and the dressing, the way people talk, the email etiquette, because there's that as well. You got to respond to emails properly. So you can't just okay, cool, unless you guys are friends. It's cool.
True.
Like sending your manager an email, it's not going to work. Like, you're not going to say, okay, cool.
Hey, Pete.
Yeah. So it's not going to be that way. I learned that, and I think it also made me realize that you have two options here. You can either just keep getting told what to do, or you can actually take risks and apologize afterwards. Right?
Hey, what was that?
So you either ask for permission, or you just apologize afterwards. So what I mean is, people who always asking Shoni, I want to do this, can I do it? Shoni, can I do this? Shoni, can I do that? Those are the people who just sit there because they have ideas, they want to go places, but it just doesn't work that way.
So don't take initiative.
There's no initiative. Exactly that. So if you're that person who says, you know what, let's try this, let's see what's the worst that could happen. So I know I've done a lot of things where I just said, you know what, I'm going to do it, and I'll apologize afterwards if it's the wrong thing to do. For example, sending the person home because they were just so fatigued, and I could see it in their face that this person's tired, that they need to go home. I was like, okay, I don't know, should I ask my manager if he can go home? But at the same time, I'm a team leader, cannot make that decision myself. So there's still some team leaders, right, who would still rather go ask. They would go have a conversation with their manager, say this is the situation, so I want to send him home. The manager will say, okay, cool, or okay, no, you can't send him home, type of thing. And then what? Then you're screwed, right? So you got to take the risk, take the initiative, and you face the consequences afterwards. So I think, that's what I've really learned and implemented into my personal life, as well as in my businesses.
So those are all the benefits you can think of, or there's still more?
I think
apart from the steady income, what else is there, and the environment and whatnot.
So yeah, so steady income is definitely a benefit because every month you get an income. The one thing I hated about it though was there's 365 days, right, and you only get paid 12 of those days. so that ratio is a big difference.
Yeah.
So that's why I started working on a side business, which I mentioned in the previous chat. There was the selling toilet paper. So we just also sell toilet paper while working as well. But there's also a clause that you have to let the company know that you're also doing this on the side.
So you must disclose it, okay?
Yeah, you have to start disclose, yeah.
Okay.
And steady income, the environment is I think because we were a very young group, right, when we started.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of people that you could relate to.
Oh, okay.
The only problem with me was I was very quiet.
Oh.
So I'm not going to go out and just like talk to people.
Yeah, that you don't know.
Yeah, it's weird for me because I just come from school where I knew everyone. Now I must go and talk to strangers. But as the time went on, you find yourself, you are 20 years old, you're surrounded by someone who's in their in their 50s actually, going towards their 60s. You surround yourself with someone who is 40, someone who's 30, and you have this whole dynamic change in terms of where people think. And everyone has their own opinions. So the work environment really helped me understand that everyone thinks differently because they're all in different stages in their lives. And that helps you formulate an idea for what you want to do and what you want to be. So having that environment really helped me in becoming an entrepreneur on the side.
Okay. And just for the viewers though, like what are some of the nice benefits? Like
the nice benefits?
Is it like a travel allowance, like
travel allowance, it depends on your role.
Yeah.
Right? So some companies offer that, ours didn't, because we didn't need to travel anywhere.
Yeah.
But that is a benefit, but it's a benefit with T's and C's, right?
True.
So you can't just misuse the vehicle because they're monitoring it.
True.
Oh, the coffee is a benefit. Because they have coffee machines, so you can just get free coffee.
Apart from maybe like the convenience of getting like the provident funds paid for you, like your medical aid.
Yeah, but not all companies offer those things,
true,
right?
Yeah.
So it really depends on the size of the company. I mean, if we just 5 people,
then
I can't offer to pay for all of these things. It's really just like, cool, with 5 of us, let's do our thing. You get paid this much, you get paid that much. So the industry is going to differ. So let's use SA as an example. They work off commission. So they only get paid if they're able to sell a property, right? So if you were selling a property, they would get 8% or 10%, depending on the agency, what the agency's fees are, and that's how much you would get from the sale of the property. Whereas where I worked, it was steady income. There was the medical aid benefit, but only when you're a permanent employee. When you're temporary, there's no such, right? But I realized when I was permanent, when I was temping, right? I had more money when I was temping versus when I became permanent.
Why is that?
For the main reason that now you have to, when you become permanent, you have to pay for medical aid. So you have to have it. So that cuts out money from your income. So I'm not going to give the exact figures, but for conversation's sake, if I was earning 15,000 as a temp consultant and I became permanent now that I became permanent, I earn 13,000 because now I have all these other contributions that I pay a portion of, or the company pays a portion of, and that actually takes away that additional funds.
So there's some very interesting points talk about the employment journey, your employment journey. So now obviously let's have a general discussion about employment versus entrepreneurship in our current landscape. So I'm trying to look at it from the perspective of giving maybe our viewpoints, talking from our experiences, so that people in high school, high school leavers, students in college or tertiary, can have, can make a decision on which path to take. Right. So tell me about some of like the benefits to being employed. Tell me about the challenges you face as an employee.
Yeah.
Tell me about how. Just talk. Just like as if you're giving a 18-year-old or 17-year-old Romeo advice about being employed.
So number one, you got stability. Number two would be networking, because now you're exposed to all these people who can, if you start a business, you just go to them and you say, hey, Shloni, I'm starting a balloon business. We do this sort of balloons, show them some pictures. Cool. You already got one person who's going to tell their sister, their brother, their parents, or whoever it is they're going to tell. And then you got a whole network through all of those people. So that's a benefit. Another thing would be exposure, because now you're also meeting more people. So you really get to learn more about people and expose yourself to them. And also, you remember, because you're engaging so much and seeing each other every day, you almost get to know them on personal levels. Right? So you get to meet other people, which is great, and you get to interact. That's great, because not everyone gets the opportunity to interact with other people, so they struggle to talk when it comes to meeting a stranger. Right? So I've actually gained a lot of confidence by actually having those interactions, because in certain situations you're forced to go and talk to a stranger. Right?
What do you enjoy the most about being employed, though?
Okay, so what I enjoy the most is that I also get a lot of time to learn my strengths and my weaknesses. That's like very important. I mean, in high school, we had the whole SWOT analysis, your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, and I think you actually really explore those two, your strengths and your weaknesses, because of the situations that you've been put into, right? Whether in meetings or whatever the case is, and you learn more about yourself. Like one thing I learned was how to do CVs. Right, so like to structure your CV in a more appealing way.
Yes.
And I think we actually done your CV when you were looking for employment at one stage, and then I still remember you said no, to just hold on, because I'm actually busy with something, and then I think around the time you're busy with the chemicals. Yeah, so and I think that's just the key focus, is your strengths and your weaknesses. Is what really gives you time. I can't say that it gives you more time to yourself or whatever the case. It's very circumstantial, because if you are traveling from here to Pretoria versus me traveling from here to town, it's way different. I spend way less time on the road versus you.
Yeah, true.
So that's why I don't want to go too far into it. It's very circumstantial.
Okay, true.
Yeah.
So it sounds like time is a challenge as well. What are some of, along with time, some of the other challenges that you face with being employed? So
the good part is, I'm pretty sure, and I'm 100% sure, not everyone is working that 9 to 5. Like, you are not working from the time you start at 9 to the time you leave at 5 o'clock.
At 5, yeah.
The challenges with time is that it's a challenge if you make it a challenge, but you actually have additional time, like your lunch time. You can eat at your desk, right? So you have that time to go and learn how to trade on YouTube, or whatever you want to do. Just learn more about the industry that you're interested in. You can explore that in your lunchtime. While you're driving home, you can be thinking about the stuff you learned. Play a podcast on something. Even while you're working, you listen to a podcast. So I think the main challenge is that drive home, and when you come home, you feel quite drained.
What do you do when you come? Yes.
I come home, I hit the gym. After I hit the gym, I'm tired, and then I go home and you start working on the next section of life. Your side hustle, and not everyone can do that. Let's just be honest, because some people they're used to a routine of go to work, come home, relax, cook, relax, whatever it is, and I just choose to be productive, get the most out of my day as much as I can.
That is not for everyone. Not everyone has to.
Yeah, I feel like not everyone has to, and not everyone wants to. And we shouldn't judge them if they feel like, I just want to go to work and come home and relax. It's what they want to do. Not everyone needs to work as hard. Like I said, circumstances. Something will motivate you if you want to work that hard, or nothing will motivate you.
True.
Yeah.
So those are some of the challenges, though.
Yeah.
Of being employed.
And I actually wanted to ask you, what's your view in terms of, do you think you would have had any other challenges, or do you face any challenges now not having that employment experience?
Yeah, I think from my experience, dog, is that obviously being your mate,
Yeah.
you'd obviously tell me some of the things that you go through in being employed. But I feel like you don't have to be employed to know what happens in employment.
World,
exactly. So I know some of the things, like for example, sales. For example,
Yeah.
every single company has a way of closing a sale, chasing clients, keeping them loyal, right? So those are the key ingredients. I feel like I would have loved to learn them by being employed by someone, right?
Yeah.
Things like you said, email etiquette.
Yeah.
Email etiquette. Those things. I feel like the way I write emails, the way I write quotations, is right for me. Until someone who actually knows from a background like corporate tells me that no.
You sound a little bit rude in the email.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's those things, the nitty-gritties, like the finer details on how to actually run a sustainable, business.
Yeah. So that actually got me thinking. For teens, actually, people who are in high school and people in tertiary and so forth. Do you think they should be entrepreneur, or do you think they should be employed?
Like you said, it's circumstantial.
Yeah.
Right. It all depends on, number one, your circumstances. Because I actually read somewhere that people who choose entrepreneurship as a choice, you understand? So like you and Shamira have a produce business, right? So I feel like you seized the opportunity and you made the choice to actually start that business.
Yeah.
Right. So if you start a business by choice, you're more likely to succeed because I feel like you don't have that much pressure. Like, there is pressure, but it's everything like, I chose this life. You understand? Versus someone who's starting entrepreneurship because of they call it survivalist entrepreneurship. He's trying to survive. So he'd sell clothes or food. So they seldomly succeed because everything they're doing it to survive. So they're always on that desperation feeling.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm always thinking like, if like you said for high school students, wherever, you understand, it's entirely up to you. First look at your circumstance, look at your life at the moment. If you need a job, fight for a job. But if you want to start your own business, then by all means start it.
Yeah.
You understand?
I actually agree with you. It's very circumstantial because you need to understand why you're doing something.
Exactly.
Don't just do it because it's the thing to do. Like, let's look at topics, right? And not to make anyone feel bad, but a lot of people, like a lot of ladies currently, are doing the makeup stuff, right, on YouTube. We have a lot of ladies doing it, and I know because my girlfriend follows them, some of them, and she's like, look at her makeup stuff, and I'm like, how did she go from that to that, type of thing. And then we have a lot of guys also, trying to promote brands on social media. I've seen on Instagram, I have a lot of friends who are trying to promote, the different sports brands, Nike, Adidas, whatever, everyone's trying to start a business because that's trending. But I don't think it's for everyone.
It's not for everyone. It's
and I don't mean to put anyone down. It's just that you don't need to be that person who starts something. You can be an employee if that's what fits your lifestyle.
Then so be it. Yeah.
It's just, it depends on your circumstance. I mean, for someone, let's look at someone who's just fresh out of high school, right? You're now going to move into an apartment in Braamfontein, right? You now, if you have to pay this cost, that's a massive cost because you have to pay. And apartments have a whole section to them that I think we'll actually take another video for us to discuss about. But you gotta pay for apartments, you gotta pay for groceries, you gotta pay for this, you gotta pay for that. It becomes too much. So if your circumstance can handle it, by all means move into the apartments. If you're traveling from another province to go to college here, circumstantial, right? And you gotta give that individual advice. So generally, I would say that entrepreneurship is possible for everyone. I just don't think everyone should do it. And just because it's trending.
Definitely, bro. Definitely. And another thing is I feel like the problem is that people glamorize entrepreneurship. it's this nice life, you know. Because I feel like people always start entrepreneurship for the wrong reasons, you know. You know, on social media you see that, yeah, it's your income potential is uncapped, what. People posting stories about how they started from nothing and then they have these lavish lifestyles.
Yeah.
So I feel like it gives that wrong perception
It does.
to the people.
It does.
That, you know what, entrepreneurship, you know, being your own boss is
the thing.
This is the thing,
Yeah.
right? Which is far from the truth. So I think this is also a reason why like we started this channel.
The whole channel, yeah.
Because we want to actually unpack those things and know.
It's not real.
It's not as glamorous.
It's called marketing. So that glamorous lifestyle, it exists, but I highly doubt that it's as glamorous as it looks on Instagram.
So, on the topic of employment, so you have a job now, right? Yeah. You're fortunate enough to get employed by a company, a big company. The guy or girl has a job now. She was fortunate enough to get employed by a big company, and her mission now is to grow. Her or his mission now is to grow in the company. What's like some advice you can give someone who's in that position and they want to grow in corporate?
Work your ass off, bro. Like literally talk to everyone, and just work hard, right? But there's a fine line between working too hard, where you start doing everyone's job, and actually working smart, right? A lot of the times people are just like, okay, if someone says this, I'll do this part, I'll do that part, and you end up doing everyone else's job, and they're sitting down, they're relaxing, they're chilled, you got it.
Because
yeah. So just be very careful on what you do. Know why you're there. Do what you employed to do, right? If you are a consultant for whatever it is, just for sales, right? And you're there to sell this product that just got launched. Sell this product the best way you can, right? And I think something that people don't do is as a sales consultant, if you want to be the best, know the people you're talking to. If you come in, you say you are Claudine Mieza, I need to go onto my Facebook,
know everything,
search for you, right? I'm not going to follow you or whatever the case is. I just want to see if your account is available. Let me look through it. If you're someone who loves cars, right, and I always see a car post, me as a salesperson, I need to take the initiative that when you come in again, or when we speak again, or when I can call you again, right, because it's circumstantial. When I call you again, I want to be able to offer you a vehicle asset finance, because I've taken the initiative to know Shoni, that he loves cars, and I've noticed that we don't do that, and there's nothing wrong in doing that. It's just me browsing. People put their lives on social media. Take initiative, figure that out, and you can grow that way. Talk to the right people. Have a plan of in 1 to 2 months. 1 to 2 years. You want to do this. 2 to 5 years. You want to be here. Have that plan in place. They actually guide you through that plan. Your team, your manager, will guide you through that plan. Struggle. I mean, drop us a comment. And we'll actually we'll have that one-on-one conversation. We'll even video call you.
Video call, yeah.
And we'll have a conversation. What's your circumstance? What can you do to grow? Whether you're an employee or you're trying to start a business, you know, that type of thing. So we have that conversation based on your circumstance. Yeah.
Okay.
So you know, thinking about our conversation now, how do you think as an entrepreneur, right, you can grow? Because I mean, to me, it's crazy the amount of work that goes into it.
Primarily depends on money, if you're being honest. So if you are fortunate enough to access financing either through loan facilities, I don't know, self-funding, if you've saved up enough capital, self-funding, this thing now, angel funding, borrowing from friends, just any way you can get your hands on significant capital to grow your business, use that. Also, you need I'm not so much a fan of a business plan, but I'm so much a fan of a business strategy.
Yeah.
Right. So, because I was looking at the some of the failures, the reason why small or micro enterprises fail is because they don't have a marketing strategy, right? How to push their shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How to push their shit. Like, so it's one of those things, like I think the most important thing, right, just sorry to divert, but the most important thing for anyone who's starting a business is to learn how to sell, bro. Like, that's the most important. Everything else is a cherry on top, but the most fundamental thing is learning how to sell, how to chase client, how to what's the cold call? Cold call.
Yeah.
Cold call, chase the client, entice them, and close the deal, bro. Get that 10 rand, 100 rand, 1,000 rand out of their pockets into your bank account.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. The sales process. Learn it, master it, finesse it, bro. And then back to strategy. Have a strategy. How you plan to grow. First penetrate the market and then grow your market share. Right?
Yeah.
Also, how you maintain customer loyalty.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a good point.
You understand? So there's a lot of 101s to growing your company. You know, I'm still implementing these things, so I'm still in the process of growing. So I'm just speaking based off what I
have done, or you know
what I mean. So different for every single business. It's different for everyone. It's different for every industry. You know, but these are the things that are very consistent, I feel.
Yeah.
Also networking as well.
Yeah, that's very important.
You know what I mean? So you can't do it alone. You know, you can't do it alone. You need to surround yourself with the right people.
On that point, bro, the you can't do it alone. I think as a strategy as well, you know, that people should take into consideration is talk to your friend, your best friend. Say you're interested in doing this. Can we do it together?
Exactly.
You know, a lot of people fail with, like you said, to sell. Right? But also, I think you gotta know what it is you want to achieve, right? And you want to help this person. You don't just want to sell something to them they don't want.
Exactly.
Like if you're going to sell me cigarettes, I don't want it. You know, it's not going to work. I'm a very difficult person if you're selling me something I don't want. But if you know it's going to change someone's life, even if if you're giving them back 5 minutes of time in the product or service that you're going to offer, right? That's more than enough to sell someone.
Definitely.
Because I'd like 5 minutes of my time back. People don't have time.
True.
Right? So I think it's very important to establish that you're trying to help someone
exactly
along the lines. You'll get money. As long as you're helping someone, you'll get that money.
Definitely.
That money will start flowing as long as you help the more people that you help along your journey and take with you. One of the things I've mentioned to some of our friends actually is let's work together on this part of your business, and I want nothing to do with your main business. I can help you in this part. So do you want to work together to get this part right? You know, I don't care about the other profits. I just care about this section of the business, and I'll help you there.
Definitely.
You got to take the whole team with you. I just believe in that.
Definitely. And also, while you're speaking about selling, is one thing I forgot to mention is that you must make sure your business must be about value.
Yeah.
Like everything from the beginning stages. So can I use your business for example?
Yeah.
Like your balloons, right? So you buy balloons. I don't know if it's ready made, like the design. We're still going to design and then.
So essentially, when you say design, you mean the inside, like the confetti and stuff.
Yes,
inside.
it's all those things.
That's all that you gotta manually put inside.
Yourself,
yeah.
Right. So what I mean by from the beginning stages, the value is that you actually have direct, almost control over where you actually get your stuff. Right. So say for example, your value chain would be in the long run, you have a side company that manufactures the balloons, right? Because obviously it becomes cheaper for you now because you just take from that pot, you do it here and then you sell.
Yeah.
You understand? Instead of buying it from someone else as a sell-off.
Yeah.
Right. So the most important thing for me, I feel in business is value, bro. Like how are you changing value in your own business and in someone else's?
Yes.
You know, because it's almost like for me the perception of value is how would my life be without product A? You know what I mean? So you give value in the sense that my kid has a birthday and here's this unique balloon that, you know, it brings together the whole, you know, the whole experience in terms of decor and aesthetics. So if I don't have this balloon, the party's gonna look shit.
Yeah.
You know, so your product is adding value in the sense that, you know what, my customers or my clients can't live without my products.
Yeah.
So I think if you can get that shit right, like if you develop products or services that add value,
yeah, 100%.
You're gone. In my opinion, like your company will go.
I like that.
That's pretty much how you grow. So another thing that I find very interesting is how, because you're employed and you also have your own business, how do you then, number one, how do you manage the two? And okay, first of all, what is your motive to start a side business, and then how do you manage?
My motive, if I can be honest, it was because things were trending, right? And I'm surrounded by a lot of people who, like I said, you know, you're surrounded by different age groups, and they all at different stages in their lives, and a lot of them are at a stage where they're starting businesses. And so I also, because I started the business, I almost want to continue starting the business, but I want to find something that I enjoy, right? And that's why I mentioned that we started property, right, to invest in properties. Number one, because I love houses. I always watch shows like Top Billion used to be on SABC3. I used to love watching the part where they had to talk about the house. Yeah. You know, because I always found it interesting. And then we got further in the sense of investing in property. One of my role models, Robert Kiyosaki, because I love the guy and I read his books, some of his books, it made me want to invest in property. So I think my motive was more in the sense of trying to help someone achieve a goal. So in this case, my girlfriend, she wants to start a business. And this was her idea because I was at balloons at parties. So I love helping people. So essentially, I was there to help her. Okay, let's try this, let's do this, let's do that. We had arguments in the beginning. It's like any business, with any partners you have, you're going to have those arguments because you have different visions. But as long as we find some common ground and take that forward. So I think that was my motive. And I think managing that employment and work life is not easy. It's not for everyone. Let's go back there. I don't think everyone can do it. I don't think everyone should do it. If it's not for you, don't do it. We've said this earlier. If it's not for you, don't go out of your 8 to 4 o'clock, your 9 to 5, whatever you want to call it. Don't go out of that zone to go home and focus on another business if you don't want to. Right? If you feel that you are good where you are, leave it at that. Right? If you feel you want more money, you want to have a good car, you want to move into an expensive house, if you want all of that, you gotta work and find something you enjoy that's going to change someone's life, and you are going to help other businesses along the way. The balloons. Another thing is you need stickers for the balloons, right? We don't have sticker machines. So we team up with other businesses, right, to get that supply chain going. And in that, you're creating a network. So essentially that's what you want to do. You want to help other people along while helping yourself. Right? It's just, and my advice is literally just do it if you want to do it. If you're passionate about something, you want to start this business because it's something that interested you, whether it be starting your own chocolate brand, whether it be working with a chocolate brand.
And just quickly talk, how do you then say I have a full-time job and a part-time business side hustle? When is the right time to leave my full-time job and
focus on that?
Yeah.
So that's a hard one because I haven't reached that level. Yeah. But in my head,
in your head, yeah.
The reason I haven't left is because I don't feel I make enough from my current side hustles to leave my job, right? And you gotta make that money. You gotta have enough funds here that covers here. Because remember, in my employment, what you're currently doing is you're paying off your gym fees, your college fees if you were studying, right, and whatever other fees you have, you're paying that off. And so you want to make enough here that covers all of that, all your current expenses, but also cut down on expenses you don't need. Make sure that you have enough here to cover them. That's just it. Yeah, so that's my view. Do you have any final advice for the viewers, for people in high school, tertiary, even parents? Do you have any final advice that you'd like to?
At some point you have to start taking initiative and take control of your own life. Right?
Yeah.
So I think the whole idea of this episode was to give people comfort with the power to make a decision of, you know what, do I want to go the employment route or do I want to take the entrepreneurship route? But for both variables, I feel like you should just be very clued up.
Yeah.
Know how to play the game, know the rules. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, right? And don't think short term. You know, always play the long game. Yeah.
100%, I agree on that, bro.
Always play the long game.
That instant gratification is not going to help
it's
you.
It's never going to work. You know.
Yeah.
Always play the long game. Always be teachable. Another thing.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know everything.
Yeah.
And always learn something new. Keep growing as a person. There's a lot of stuff I can give, but I think for me personally, that's what I think. Because that's advice that can work on both ends. You know, you employed, you always wanna upskill.
Yeah.
Right. You're an entrepreneur, you still wanna upskill.
Yes. You're always going to at different times as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I like that, bro.
So I think that's all I can say for now. I think like you said, there's plenty of other episodes to discuss this topic because you know, I know for a lot of viewers they feel like we left out a lot of stuff, but trust we will get to
we'll get to it
eventually.
So I think, you know, just in closing, you know, guys, send us a DM on Instagram, drop us some comments, you know, get a hold of us. Our Instagram is open. Drop us DM, let's go through a circumstance, let's video call, let's chat, let's see how we can help you, and maybe you can help us even, teach us something.
Exactly.
So yeah, let's do that.
Right,
And that's it from us.
That's it.